Very good evening. Welcome to Royal Bangalore. I'm sorry, my nasal is just having some cold, so I'm sorry for my voice. If it is not audible, please go ahead and let me know in the comment section. And as I said, you can always watch my video till the end. If you made it till deep end, I'd really appreciate it. Go ahead and like and follow. Today, if you look at my thumbnail, it clearly suggests about cloud kitchen licenses required to go ahead and set up in Bangalore. It is also precisely any parts of India which is required legal permit. Only then it'll be really valid to go ahead and submit those documents to Swiggy, Zomato, and any other logistics partner in case if you have to rest. And believe in the longer vision, because today we're talking about branding as a subject. If at all, branding as in, if you try to create a brand and reach it to all over the state, or probably try to create many kind of stores, you need this licenses to go ahead and kickstart, and also to assign in align with your sales with your local governments wherever you're there, and then only you can kickstart. So I'm going to cover quickly in terms of the legal procedures and in terms of what is required specifically to the sacrosanct of starting a cloud kitchen. Otherwise, this is going to be really a pain for you to go ahead and sustain, because if you're doing a business, might as well help people having taxations. Yes, there are a lot of regulatory, in case if you're not doing more than 20 lakhs, you need not to pay. But having said that, it's always better to have a GST, because it's ease of doing businesses and identification. You can have legally your Google My Business page, marketing techniques, wherever is required, wherever you end up paying someone, and if they're charging the GST, you can always reclaim that back, right? So it's a parity between where you even and steven out your GST inbound and outbound. So it's always better that you go ahead and do it. So, what are the legal and regulatory requirements to have a cloud kitchen concept, specifically in Bangalore? Since we're talking about Bangalore, I'm sorry. I mean, if I'm coughing, I appreciate. Thanks for the patience. Thanks for sticking by. To really appreciate to show some love, to watch my videos. It's just a kickstart. We're going to grow as and when related to only about food, creative thoughts about new ideas about food, a lot of hacks. You can also visit my community pages. This will explain you about the little bit of food facts, the quiz I'm doing. So just in case if anybody is really participating, go ahead and comment below. So that made so I know that you're interacting with it, so you understand what the channel is all about. So let's dwell upon, not wasting further time. So the first point is that to have a licenses and permits required to set up a cloud kitchen. Okay, setting up a cloud kitchen requires important and licenses which is required. First is that you should have your goods and service tax, which is nothing but your GST. Yes, everybody might have apprehension and doubts. I'm just setting up a cloud kitchen. Why am I ending up paying taxes? I might not do so much of revenue, probably first 3 months. But this is when the trust factor comes into picture. You have to believe in your business model. You have to believe in your food sales. Yes, let's say for an argument's sake, you might do probably 80%, not to an extent achieve this target, because it takes a lot of time. Your food has to be in qualitative, your branding, your marketing, your capex, your capital expenditure might go up, and even then you have to pay GST. So, ladies and gentlemen, my sincere advice is, if you are in the land of the rule of doing your business, always be on the safer side. This is, as I said, for a longer duration of vision statements. I mean, you have a lot of leverages from the government. You will not get any subsidy as such, but then, as I said, since you're paying, let's say if you're grocery, right? If you're buying groceries, vegetable, meats, you're paying that vendor, right? So that vendor will raise an invoice. On his invoice, you'll have GST number, which means that you will end up paying tax to him. So if you end up paying tax to him, he would still end up, showing that he had spent so much of money buying and selling things, so he had charged taxes. So vice versa, when you are trying to sell your finished product, your food product, your customers, it's mandate that your bill should have a GST charges. So it's always even and stevens out the amount of bill that you charged and the amount of bill that you paid. GST will calculate it and even steven it out. If it is more over a period of 1 year, it always evens and stevens out. So it's good to have a GST, and GST is the main document to have to go ahead and register under Swiggy and Zomato, one of the prime documents, and also to register to for your softwares, also to register as a company, as a firm, right? We have spoken earlier, it's always better to take a lease. So if you're doing a lease agreement or a rental agreement, GST becomes a main copy to go ahead and register. So might as well, when you register your company, we'll look at it later in terms of registration processes for a restaurant, specifically for a branded cloud kitchen. So as of now, I mentioned about your, first thing is that your GST attaining these licenses and obtaining licenses, it becomes a sacrosanct. And the very next point, I mean, okay, let me come back to the pricing. I will also mention about the pricing later part. But the GST's mandate to open your cloud kitchen, your kitchen is concerned, to pay off your bills, paying your vendors. So GST is always better. Obviously, when you have your company registered, you would have your chartered accountant, right? So your CA will explain you, and he will maintain those record systems. Specifically when it comes to bookkeeping, I would also advise you that look at your software, which helps you to give you a point of sale, inventory management, also your human resource management systems, your accounts and receivables between this logistics partner like Swiggy and Zomato, food delivery partner. It could be Magic Pin, Inresto. In fact, also your payment gateway, your Razor Pay, your banking system. You never know how much money does it take to go ahead also and transfer from bank to bank. There's always a small nominal fee, always been added GST. So it's better that you have a GST and kickstart this amazing business of yours with this document. First point. That's the first licenses that you have to obtain and mandatorily requirement. Once you register a company, okay, I don't want to digress. Let's move on to the second point. The second point is that it's always better and not better. It's always the most important. If you're doing a food, you should have a food and safety and standard authority of India, which is in short FSSAI licenses. Now you have two types of licenses here, which is being given by any governing body in your state. Since I'm in Bangalore, I would also reach out to your Bangalore